Hey traders, checking back in the cryptocurrency space. Bitcoin bounce following through over the weekend, which was what we were looking for from the last video. Now we've set our daily lower highs and we're going to be watching the next 2 days for critical information. It's either going to be continued daily downtrend to fresh lows, or the bulls are going to regain short-term momentum in their favor with a confirmed daily trend change. I'll show you the clues that I'm looking for. So Bitcoin, we've got our low and we got our top of the bounce right around 60,000, and it looks like we are close to rolling over to a lower low, and that is absolutely a possibility on the table. And in fact, I would say it is a probability unless the bulls prove otherwise. The burden of proof is on the bulls because we are in a daily downtrend, and this break of 55.6, if it were to happen, would just continue the daily downtrend, and at that point we would be looking for daily oversold conditions to be the next scenario that we're keeping an eye on. And we have not seen daily oversold in a long time. The monthly consolidation and the break of 30,000, and that's really the last time I went real aggressive in the cryptocurrency space, was buying these dips in both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I would welcome that, as I would then be looking for oversold bounces on the daily. But for now, the 4-hour time frame gave us that falling wedge that broke bull, or actually was it the hourly? Trying to backtrack as to what we were watching. I was watching it on the hourly time frame and made some bullish positions on this drop because of this pattern. And again, it broke bull nicely and saw some follow through. So what I did on that play is I entered my first position, I think 57.2 thousand. I entered another one on the break of 56. I would have entered a few more if we kept dropping. At that point, my break even was about 56.7, we'll say, with fees. And I sold half, 57.8 or so, and that gave me a break even right around our low. So I currently have a partial position of what I scaled back into from swing position that I exited a bit of in the 60,000s, and I will keep holding it because again, it's just a small position at this point, and breaking to the lower low would only just have that position start being in the red. And again, at that point, I'm looking for daily oversold and being vast majority cash as far as my shorter term trades, and as well as some of my swing positions still happily would add it back in daily oversold conditions. So that is where I stand. I'm not doing anything right now in the short term aside from this. And if we confirm the daily trend change, I'll have a smaller re-entry of the swing position, and it won't be aggressive, huge win, but it will be benefiting if the bulls are able to pull it off. We did have a big spike up here leading up into the Fed announcement. Biden announcing that they're staying with Powell for the Fed, but you can see we're giving it all back. That's the first thing I said in the chat room when this move took place. I said we must confirm trend changes. I'll show you exactly what I said. Must confirm trend changes essentially because we know that if we don't, we could possibly just give that entire move back. And that is the last thing the bulls want to see. So back over here, must see trend changes from here versus slow fade. Start with the 5-minute. So yeah, the bull move's nice, but it means nothing if you can't change trends. So straight to the low to the high. Here's your 5-minute high or low, and here is the slow fade. We never change the 5-minute trend bullish. If you can't change the 5-minute trend bullish, the bears are going to run with it. And here we are testing those lows again. So it is forming a big old megaphone type pattern. And looking at it on the 15-minute time frame, we had a bull break, straight into a bear break, straight into a bull break, and here we are looking at the possibility of another bear break. Hourly RSI or 15-minute RSI is approaching oversold. But again, I'm not doing anything in this range. If I didn't have any exposure, I could look to potentially bottom fish off of 55.6, but again, not very confident right now. And we also have crypto stock showing us a ton of weakness today. MARA with a big red day, daily lower high set and close to testing those lows. Riot is weak as well. Coin just had a bear break. And Hut also weaker. So bears are comfortable in the short term. And we'll just be looking for an hourly lower high to be the result of the next bounce. So definitely be prepared for bull scenarios. A daily trend change with bulls saving it, or a drop to lower lows and heading towards daily oversold conditions. And again, at that point, the 12-hour time frames will say to us, this time's a bit different because the last times On weekly consolidation for both Ethereum and Bitcoin, we hit 12-hour oversold, and that marked our weekly higher lows. And this time around, they would not be marking our weekly higher lows being set if we drop under 55.6. That being said, we did get back the majority of the bounce that time as well, and bulls saved it. So the next 2 days are going to be telling. Dominance chart, not much going on, still weak overall with daily lower highs, and we can see that weakness in some of our altcoins that are standing out stronger, where we have names like Ethereum having more space to work with. Bitcoin will hit a fresh low before Ethereum does with how this setup is here. So if Bitcoin breaks 56.5 and does not see significant follow through, it's 55.6. If we break 55.6 and we don't roll over to, 53, 52,000, it's possible that Ethereum holds its low of 39.60. And looking at it from the 12-hour perspective, again, not much different than the last time here at this point. We had the bounce, we gave the majority of it back, and then we tightened up before the bull break, and we haven't given back as much if you look at the retracement size. So if I'm looking back at last time, it is still just like last time at this point. We gave back maybe 80% of the move the last time around, and so far at this point, we've only given back 65%. So no major red flags, but if we drop to lower lows, definitely is going to stand out to us. Bulls must change the 4-hour trend back in their favor for a daily higher low to be set compared to 39.60. ETH BTC trying to set a daily higher low. Bulls need the 4-hour trend change back in their favor. I take that back. We actually just got it. So trying to shape up this daily higher low, and it's all about 744 and 75. Breaking out above those levels would be notable. Best case scenario for the cryptocurrency bulls as a whole. Bitcoin holds its 55.6 support or breaks it with zero follow through. Ethereum sets a daily higher low and continues to tighten that 12-hour range just like last time. And ETH BTC shapes up for a breakout above these resistance levels of 744 and 75. That would keep the sector strong, in my opinion. The other names that I've been looking for as lead bulls have been Sol and Binance because of their weekly clarity. Trying to set weekly higher lows, trying to hold EMA 12 support. The daily chart is an inside bar. And if we see a confirmed 4-hour downtrend, which is potentially shaping up, if we see that, we're then going to zoom out and scout a daily higher low. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, everybody's already seeing daily consolidation. Sol had a big enough bounce that it isn't yet. And then from there, if the bulls can confirm a trend change back in their favor, that weekly chart is going to remain looking really healthy. And Sol BTC needs the same thing as far as trying to set a weekly higher low and needing a daily trend change back to the bulls to have confidence. Binance is seeing daily consolidation. We're looking for a higher low compared to 510. And again, we're 10% above that level. So we would need notable bear follow through in Bitcoin. It's another name where if Bitcoin breaks support and does not see follow through, we're going to look for a daily higher low to be set on the stronger alts. And the bulls have to hold the daily higher low and break 605.20 if we're going to confirm the daily trend change and confirm the weekly higher low off EMA 12 support. So watching these names, and we can see the Binance BTC chart nice and tight. Viewing this as your good old-fashioned equilibrium, high, low, lower high, higher low, lower high, and trying for a higher low, anything above 9107. And again, if this breaks bull, it'll definitely stand out as very notable to us as continuing to remain strong. So our metaverse names are standing out as lead bulls as well and looking for daily higher lows. And I traded Mana over the weekend, and this is another example where 2017 Dan gives up his weekend to make money trading Mana. 2020, 2021 Dan, nope, not doing it. So what I did was made an initial scale in on hourly oversold conditions, 363. At that point in time, I'm looking to enter more. I would keep scaling in, looking for a daily higher low. Again, I love when daily higher low aligns with hourly oversold for the first time after a bull run and daily EMA 12. That's the trifecta of exactly what I want to be seeing if I'm making a bull entry. So I would have entered a couple more positions, but I was about to leave the computer and I knew that. So the last thing I'm going to do is enter large position sizes while I'm away. Because I know that this kind of setup, especially something like a falling wedge, needs active management. I need to be selling partial into the bull moves. I need to be re-adding it on bear breaks that lack follow through. And so what ended up taking place was decent little bounce. I was away from the computer on this little 5% bounce. We then held support. And at that point in time, I came back to the computer, again, very briefly, knowing I was about to be away from the computer all night, and said, well, I can't manage this the way that I want to. This is not me giving my full attention, and I'm just putting my stop at break even. And I stopped out at break even, and that was a-okay. If I was staying home and staying with the charts all night, I would have kept that position. We would have dropped here, V-shaped to a higher high. I would have played this bottom fish, double bottom off 352. We then had a really nice equilibrium. The equilibrium broke bull. So I look at this chart and know that I would be in a nicely profitable position if I had stuck with it. But again, that's just the way that it goes. And congrats to the bulls where they did stick with it and it followed through. Because from that low of pullback into the hourly equilibrium that eventually broke bull, it's a very worthwhile trade. And the way to position in an ideal world, it's a 14% bounce. So in an ideal world, if I'm looking for a daily high or low, I want to enter. It's the same thing on different time frames. First hourly oversold, great, I scale in. If I get a sizable enough position, I exit. So let's say I have an average at 365. I exit half at 375. My break even is now 355 on half my position. I can put my stop under the low and have a tiny risk. And if I don't stop out, I nailed the daily high or low. And we're going to be looking back up at the recent high of 437. So that is positioning myself in short-term oversold conditions, partial sell of a position to drop my break even, and then position myself where if that is our higher low in a continued uptrend, I nailed it. And if not, it's a very small loss. That's your best risk reward scenario. So that is how I prefer to swing trade. And that's how I did the Bitcoin and Ethereum monthly higher lows, the positions that I'm still in. Was the same thing. Extreme oversold conditions, enter into the weakness when all these time frames, RSI levels are lining up, sell partial into the bounce, stop under the low, risk free. I never stopped out. I'm still in a good bit of those positions way higher than where I bought them. So that is how I do day trades all the time. 5-minute oversold conditions looking for an hourly high or low. And this is just doing the same thing, but on a bigger picture time frame. So daily high or low, not convincingly set on mana. The 4-hour trend change back to the bulls is needed. So a patient bull is going to look for a 4-hour high or low compared to 352. And then if we confirm the 4-hour trend change, our daily high or low will be set. And we'll be looking back to the recent high of 437 with bulls hopeful that the all-time high test can come into play. Mana BTC, same thing. We're still directly correlated, which means we're in the spotlight, which is a good sign for the bulls. But the 4-hour trend change will be needed here as well as the daily high or low tries to shape up. Sand USDT just got added to the Trader Pro alerts. So look for it in there. And we had a nice hourly falling wedge shaping up. It was the same thing, looking for a daily high or low. Hourly RSI got right down just above oversold conditions and was watching this chart at 6 a.m. this morning. Right about here, we set the hourly high or low and then broke it bullish by getting over 411. And again, very notable follow through. That's a 10% move from 411 following through with this breakout. 4-hour trend change will still be needed, but the daily high or low on sand is much more convincingly set with our only resistance at 453 and the all-time high of 469. So mana bulls are hoping that sand is leading the way as far as setting these higher lows and trying to continue the all-time high bull run breakout. Sand BTC, same deal. Extremely strong. Breakout from a nice hourly equilibrium. Daily high or low set and looking back up at that all-time high. So again, it's not game over if Bitcoin breaks support here, because if Bitcoin breaks support with the lack of follow through and all these other altcoins hold their support levels, it's going to be okay. That being said, the Bitcoin bulls will have to regain momentum for these altcoins to confirm daily trend changes. So I'm going to be watching this downtrending support line, which is aligning with that 55.6 low. And again, if we break below it, but come back above it fairly quickly and hold this downtrending support line, then that will stand out to me as far as continued bull possible. It's not what I meant to say, but continued possibility for bulls to keep control. So the Bitcoin break is not enough. And again, I've been talking about how Ethereum is my guide on the weekly time frame because it's very clear. So if Ethereum and Binance and Sol and all our stronger alts give us daily higher lows, that is more meaningful to me than if Bitcoin breaks support with a lack of follow through. So that is where I stand at this point. Bears wanting to hedge or aggressive bears are looking for an hourly lower high if they're not already in a position. Next time we bounce. And the clues will be in the alts for me. I hope you're well. I hope you had a good weekend. And we will check back in when we either get a break of support or resistance on the short-term time frame daily chart for Bitcoin. Do good things.